Have you ever imagined a young shepherd boy defeating a giant nearly 3 meters tall? It might sound like something out of a novel, yet the Bible recounts this stunning victory in vivid detail. An ordinary individual with extraordinary faith performed the impossible to save an entire nation. Want to discover the secret and lessons behind this miraculous triumph? Join us as we delve into the dramatic journey of David and Goliath, where faith, courage, and the power of God come together to create one of the most inspiring stories of all time. 1. Background and plot. 1.1. The battle setup. 1 Samuel 17 verses 1 to 3. The story of David and Goliath is recorded in 1 Samuel 17. At this point in time, the Israelites and the Philistines are facing each other in battle formation. The Israelites are stationed on one hillside, and the Philistines on another, with the valley of Elah lying between them. The Philistines gathered their forces for war. Saul and the Israelites assembled and camped in the valley of Elah, drawing up their battle line to meet the Philistines. 1 Samuel 17 verses 1 to 2. 1.2. The appearance of Goliath. 1 Samuel 17 verses 4 to 11. Goliath is a colossal warrior from the Philistines. The Bible describes him as being 6 cubits and a span tall, close to 3 meters, wearing heavy bronze armor and wielding enormous weapons. A champion named Goliath, who was from Gath, came out of the Philistine camp. His height was 6 cubits and a span. 1 Samuel 17 verse 4. Goliath challenges the Israelites. Choose a man and have him come down to me. If he is able to fight and kill me, we will become your subjects. But if I overcome him and kill him, you will become our subjects and serve us. 1 Samuel 17 verses 8 to 9. This challenge terrifies King Saul and the entire Israelite army because none of them dares to face such a giant. 2. David, the humble shepherd. 2.1. An unlikely hero. 1 Samuel 17 verses 12 to 15. At the time, David was merely a shepherd boy, not a trained soldier. He was the youngest son of Jesse from Bethlehem. His 3 oldest brothers served in King Saul's army, while David shuttled between tending his father's sheep and bringing provisions to his brothers. David was the youngest. The 3 oldest followed Saul, but David kept going back and forth from Saul to tend his father's sheep at Bethlehem. 1 Samuel 17 verses 14 to 15. 2.2. David learns of Goliath. 1 Samuel 17 verses 23 to 26. When David arrives at the Israelite camp to check on his brothers, he hears Goliath hurling insults at God and challenging the Israelites. Outraged, David feels that Goliath is blaspheming the name of the Lord. David asks the men standing near him, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?" 1 Samuel 17, verse 26. It is David's deep reverence for God that prompts him to stand up to the giant. 3. David decides to fight. 3.1. The challenge and warnings. 1 Samuel 17, verses 32 to 37. When King Saul hears that David wants to fight Goliath, he expresses doubt because David is young and inexperienced in battle. However, David recounts how he once killed both a lion and a bear that threatened his flock, affirming that it was the Lord who gave him the victory. The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine. 1 Samuel 17, verse 37. 3.2. Rejecting heavy armor. 1 Samuel 17, verses 38 to 39. Saul tries to dress David in his own armor, but David finds it too cumbersome. He ultimately decides to remove the king's armor and relies solely on his sling and 5 smooth stones. David said to Saul, I cannot go in these because I am not used to them. So he took them off. 1 Samuel 17, verse 39. This illustrates David's complete trust in God rather than in human weaponry. 4. An unequal battle. 4.1. Goliath's taunts. 1 Samuel 17 verses 41 to 44. Seeing David approach with just a sling, Goliath ridicules him and believes he can easily wipe David out. He said to David, "Am I a dog, that you come at me with sticks?" 1 Samuel 17:43. 4.2. David's bold declaration of faith. 1 Samuel 17 verses 45 to 47. David responds with unwavering courage. "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty." 1 Samuel 17, verse 45. He believes this battle belongs to the Lord, emphasizing, "The Lord saves not with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's." Verse 47. 4.3. David defeats Goliath. 1 Samuel 17, verses 48 to 51. As Goliath advances, David quickly takes one stone from his pouch, slings it, and strikes Goliath in the forehead. The giant falls face down, and David uses Goliath's own sword to behead him, achieving a resounding victory. So David triumphed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone, without a sword in his hand. 1 Samuel 17, verse 50. 5. Deep lessons for both body and soul. 5.1. Spiritual insights. Unshakable faith in God. Recognizing God as the true source of strength. David is convinced that deliverance comes from the Lord, not from armor or swords. In our own lives, true strength also flows from reliance on God, standing up for what is right. When Goliath insults and blasphemes the name of the Lord, David refuses to remain silent. Lesson: we should act courageously in the face of injustice. Humility: David knows he is just a shepherd boy. He does not boast about his own prowess. He acknowledges that God is sovereign. 5.2. Physical aspects: utilizing what we have and persevering. Flexibility: David cannot handle heavy armor. He uses a sling, the weapon he is most skilled with from protecting his sheep. The takeaway: know your strengths and concentrate on what you do best. Training and discipline: David did not defeat Goliath by sheer chance. He had honed his sling skills, having battled lions and bears. 1 Samuel 17, verse 36. Victory often arises from consistent practice. 5.3. Everyday applications. Trusting God when facing giants. Everyone has their own Goliath, be it hardships, illness, work pressure, or temptations. Depending on God's strength rather than our own can help us stand firm rather than give up. Cultivating courage and leveraging personal skills. Instead of trying to mimic others, be like David, who understood his unique tools and used them to overcome enormous challenges. Becoming an inspiration: David's triumph encouraged the entire Israelite army and continues to motivate believers to this day. 6. Modern-day role models reflecting the David and Goliath story. 6.1. Oprah Winfrey. Born into poverty and subjected to abuse, she had virtually no advantages early on. Yet she overcame these obstacles to become the queen of media. Like David, Oprah had no perfect starting point, but her perseverance and faith in her abilities propelled her forward. 6.2. Steve Jobs. Ousted from the very company he founded, Apple, facing multiple Goliaths in the tech industry. His passion for product development and unwavering determination led him back to Apple, ultimately changing the tech world. 6.3. Nick Vujicic. Born without arms or legs, Nick confronted the giant of his physical limitations. Through strong faith and perseverance, He became a globally renowned motivational speaker, demonstrating that with God, nothing is impossible. 6.4 Paralympic athletes. Many athletes with physical disabilities who compete and sometimes win medals in the Paralympic Games. They transform their physical limits into powerful motivation. Just like David converted his experience as a shepherd into an asset for victory. These modern examples demonstrate how the David and Goliath motif remains relevant even today. Anyone who places trust in God and recognizes their own strengths can overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges. 7. Conclusion. The story of David and Goliath, 1 Samuel 17, is one of the Bible's most stirring narratives, proving that God can use anyone, even a young shepherd boy, to overcome an apparently unbeatable foe. Key lessons include faith in God. True triumph comes from the Lord, not human might. Humility and devotion. David stands up for God's honor, never boasting in himself. Utilizing one's God-given talents. Whether it's a sling or your own unique ability, God can work wonders through it. Persistence and preparation. Today's victories stem from ongoing discipline, learning, and God's guidance. Inspiring others. David's win continues to motivate countless generations, reminding us to step up courageously when everyone else is afraid. Practical life application. When facing major obstacles, exams, financial crises, relationship breakdowns, remember that God can use the strengths you already possess, a specific skill, unique creativity, or your faith in Him, to transform the situation. Dare to take action with a David-like heart, humble yet bold. Don't obsess over possessing the flashiest armor or resources. The presence and power of God is what matters most. Just as Oprah, Steve Jobs, Nick Vujicic, and many others overcame adversity, David and Goliath's story reminds us all to rise up, confront our personal giants, and place our trust in the God who can make the impossible possible. All those gathered here will know that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord's, and He will give all of you into our hands. 1 Samuel 17, verse 47. May this powerful and deeply human story spur you on to live with greater strength, resilience, and faith, no matter which Goliath awaits you on life's journey.